Hey guys, Raven Knight here. I'll go ahead and admit up front about this video that I was just scrolling through YouTube this morning and I saw this video from Rags recommended to me. If you haven't seen Rags, he's one of these hosts on EFAP, and he has his own channel and a second channel called Dog Bites, and that's where the original video where he responded to is. You can go check it out if you like. I didn't watch Rags' video on this topic, but I saw the article that he was responding to, and I was kind of fascinated. The title was something that made me do like a double take. I just had to read it myself. With Bethesda's big space RPG game coming out, Starfield, there's a lot to be excited about. Lark and I are both already talking about how fun the game looks and how we'll be approaching it. And obviously there will be articles and videos about the game and speculating about it, but I was not expecting this. Okay, the title of this article is, "There's no hope for anyone who plays Starfield as a cop." Okay, leaving aside the obscenely long title, that title is ludicrously long. Keep it short, buddy. The premise alone of the title is enough to make me scratch my head. Why on earth is there no hope for me if I choose to be a cop in Starfield? What do you mean by no hope? Am I going to die? Is the cop playthrough somehow flawed? Is it destined to be a bad ending? Actually, no, that's not the case. You'll see what he's going to say. You'll see. But before we get started, we have one more little problem, and it's kind of a continuity thing. I've had a lot of people ask why in some of my videos I use female player avatars. Well, it's because my friends Jay and Hannah do wonderful art for the channel, and I like to advertise their work, and that means sometimes I use their art for the avatars that I do. And I try to make the avatars ones that connect to whatever I'm talking about. And they always do outstanding art, but unfortunately there is no good avatar that they've made for space cops or space warriors or anything like that. So I was a little bit stumped on this one until I remembered that Jay, for my Mass Effect series, drew a lovely image of me as a female Quarian. So let's switch over to that. There we go. Okay, don't I just look absolutely precious in a filthy Xeno kind of way? Someone call the Inquisition. All right, enough joking around. Let's do this. There's no hope for anyone who plays Starfield as a cop. I'm all for exploring different roleplay options, but who chooses being a cop over being a space pirate? By Ben Sledge. You can be anything you want to be. Believe in yourself, follow your dreams, and don't let anyone stop you. Write that novel. Launch that singing career at your local karaoke night in front of a load of old men. Cook the best mushroom risotto that your friends have ever tasted. I get it. Sometimes real life gets in the way of these platitudes, but I have full confidence that you can achieve every goal you set your mind to. That goes double for anything you want to do in Starfield. Games and RPGs in particular often allow you to do anything you want or be anyone you want. From the moment you load up the game, you're often given a character creator which allows you to customize your appearance, stats, backstories, and a whole bunch of other options. In the game itself, your choices will likely reflect the character you're trying to be, whether it's Mass Effect's Paragon system, deciding whether you're a goodie or a baddie, or which faction you team up with in Fallout 4. RPGs love giving you difficult choices to help shape your character, and none more so than Bethesda. Okay, nothing technically wrong yet necessarily, but notice how we're literally 2 paragraphs into the article, and we're still only on preamble, introductory fluff as it were. The first paragraph is just a reminder that in IRL, you can do whatever you like if you believe in yourself. Okay, that's a nice sentiment. But then you add in RPGs, and that it's also the case in RPGs that you can do whatever you want. Like, they like to give you the chance to customize your experience and make your own choices. And then you finally get into Bethesda. It's like you're just jumping from point A to point B. It's like, okay, you can do whatever you want in real life. You can do whatever you want in RPGs. And then there's Bethesda, who makes a lot of RPGs. And that all took 2 paragraphs. You could have said all this in 1 paragraph. This should give you an idea of how long-winded the article is, but let's keep going. Starfield is giving you options. Whether you're going to be a cosmic archaeologist scanning moon rocks like it's the early days of No Man's Sky, or you fancy wearing your special edition watch, if it comes, and adventuring in the name of New Atlantis NASA, the choice is yours. You can be a vigilante dealing out swift justice among the stars. You can take down space capitalists on their super yacht-sized luxury spacecraft. You can be a pirate, or you can be a cop. I already know what I'm going to be. I'm going to be a space pirate. A pirate in space. You can't tell me that any other fictional occupation in Bethesda's NASA punk will be as cool as becoming the love child of Blackbeard and Neil Armstrong, so that's what I'm going to be. I can be anything I want, remember? Sir, I'm sorry, are you like 8 years old? I mean, this whole paragraph feels like the argument of some little kid sharing their dream occupation in front of the classroom of an elementary school. Like, you know those old projects you had to do in elementary school where the teacher assigns all the kids, tell us about your dream job? I could just see this guy, some 8-year-old kid walking up. So for my dream job, I want to be a pirate in space, because pirates are super cool and space is super cool, so that's what I want to do. And when the teacher dares to say that this isn't a realistic thing you can do, the child then argues, it's a free country, I can do what I want. Yeah, this feels a little juvenile, but I too have my childish moments and passion, so I'll let it slide, though I will have to say, again, get on with it! I was sold on the life of space piracy when I first heard the name, and doubled down on the idea when Bethesda showed off some of the boarding options for spacecraft in the game. Maybe I'll be a master negotiator pirate, bartering my way on board unsuspecting vessels, before pulling out my laser pistol and just starting blasting. Maybe I'll be more honest about my motivations, blowing ships out of the atmosphere and looting their carcasses, or boarding with a bloodthirsty crew all armed to the teeth. One thing I know for sure is that no ship in the system will be safe from my wrath, and that fancy schmancy cruise liner is the first in line for a break-in. I'll steal, loot, and plunder my way across the galaxy, and there's nothing you can do to stop me.
Get on with it! Yes, get on with it!
Okay, yeah, fair. I get it. You want to be a pirate. You want to loot and pillage. The only question for you is not one of morals or ethics, but just how brutal you want to be in your debauchery and sin. That's fine. I got it. It's an RPG. Do what you want. No one will stop you. Do as you please. Go chaotic evil or lawful evil. I don't really care. None of us really care. You do you, dude. But I want everyone watching right now, all of you right now, to keep this paragraph that I've just mentioned in the back of your mind. Some of what it says will be important for later. Keep going. Someone will try to stop me, I assume. That would be the cops. It was previously revealed that you could play Starfield as a cop, an insider on a pirate vessel leaking information to the authorities. That's fine. I'll need an enemy in my playthrough, but I can't for the life of me understand why anyone would play as a cop in their game. You can't understand why someone would want to play a cop. But you do understand that people may want different things than you, right? You do understand that much, right? When given the option of a space pirate or a police officer, which sounds more fun? Looting freely, redistributing the universe's unequal wealth, and making a barbarous name for yourself? Or working for the man by rounding up petty criminals and pointing your gun at children to make yourself feel beggar before returning home to your loveless marriage to have perfunctory sex with your boring partner? Oh, Lord, give me strength. Alright, let's talk about this. So, Benny, can I call you Benny? I don't particularly care. Benny, you open your first sentence by asking which sounds more fun. Well, that depends, doesn't it? Your idea of fun is not everyone else's idea of fun. Some people will find the act of catching criminals and protecting innocent people more fun than committing crimes and plundering ships. So you asking this question could be met with various different and very valid answers. As Mahler said in his Dark Souls 2 series, it is wrong to tell anyone what is objectively more fun in a video game. Alright, you then go on to blatantly romanticize the pirate life by saying looting freely, redistributing the universe's unequal wealth, and making a barbarous name for yourself. Alright, the redistributing the universe's unequal wealth part, the redistribution part, reveals a great deal about your personal philosophy, Benny boy. Firstly, redistribution of wealth is not a tenet of piracy. It's possible that in the game you may have the ability to choose to do that, but that is not necessarily how all pirates will act or want to act. See, you don't want to be a pirate, Benny boy. You want to be a Robin Hood figure, robbing from the big mean plutocrats to give to the poor. And sure, that's fine, more power to you for wanting that, but didn't you say in your earlier paragraph that you would, quote, be more honest about my motivations, blowing ships out of the atmosphere and looting their carcasses or boarding with a bloodthirsty crew all armed to the teeth? Sounds to me that you want death, bloodshed, destruction, theft. Seems to me you're more than happy to slaughter people, and you're now slipping into the, oh, but I'll totally give it back to the galaxy to make yourself sound more moral. Yeah, but that just makes you look two-faced and dishonest, Benny boy. You can't even be honest about your wanton desire for bloodshed and death. You have to mask it in a veil of self-righteousness. So let's cool our jets, okay? Alright, you then follow it up by talking about being a cop like this, quote, or working for the man by rounding up petty criminals and pointing your gun at children to make yourself feel bigger before returning home to your loveless marriage to have perfunctory sex with your boring partner. Where do we start with this? Okay, so first, by rounding up petty criminals. Do you mean you as well? After all, Benny boy, you are a criminal. And you said earlier that a cop would be your enemy in the playthrough. So do you count yourself among the petty criminals? I like how you just go on a rant about your desire to destroy and kill and loot people for fun, but then claim that cops just go after petty criminals. What are you then, Benny boy? Okay, you then add, pointing your gun at children makes yourself feel bigger. The ad hominem is real. Alright, I feel like you're just trying to demonize law enforcement here in general, but fine. Okay, let's play that game. You said in a previous paragraph, the one that I told you all to remember, quote, "One thing I know for sure is that no ship in the system will be safe from my wrath, and that fancy schmancy cruise liner is the first in line for a break-in." So, okay, you just harass and attack defenseless ships to kill and massacre innocent people to make yourself feel bigger and badder, and worse, you steal their stuff that you did not earn and you certainly did not deserve. And you justify all this by saying you're fighting the man so that you don't actually have to consider the moral implications of your wickedness. See? I can play the game of ad hominem too, only I can use your own words against you. You, meanwhile, are inventing bullshit. You then end by saying, quote, "before returning home to your loveless marriage to have perfunctory sex with your boring partner." Okay, this isn't just an insult, but it appears to be projection. Benny boy, do you not realize how easily I could do the reverse on you here? No, believe me? Watch this. I'm going to replace his sentence. Which sounds more fun to you? Being a hero of society, hunting down violent and dangerous people and bringing law to the lawless, making the frightening void of space seem more safe to the common man? Or being a lonely and hopeless outlaw with no prospects in life beyond petty theft and murder, who likes to point his gun at innocent people to make himself feel bigger and stronger, right before returning to his shit with captured women for him to rape, because obviously no woman would willingly want anything to do with a waste of skin and resources like him. See? Easy. Now, some of you might think that's unnecessarily harsh, but it was Benny Boy here who started off with the projection and ad hominem. He hasn't used any objective criteria to explain why playing pirate is better than cop, and is simply throwing around moronic arguments that can easily be reversed on him. Your own personal bias against cops is very obvious here, and you should really be ashamed, but let's keep going. I know which I'm choosing. And I'm not going to be a cop, not even to roleplay some good apple or corrupt vigilante trying to fix the system. You can be anything you want to be, anything in the entire universe, and you choose law enforcement? I worry about you. Aw, you worry about me, Benny? That's touching. And if I cared about you, I might return the sentiment. No, that's harsh, I know. I'll stop joking. For now. So, okay, that bit about you won't be a cop, even one who is a good apple or a vigilante trying to make change. Okay, why not? If your issue with cops is that they fight for the man, is there something wrong with a cop who does the right thing and doesn't fight for the man? Not going to explore that direction at all? And you say that we can be anything we want to be and we choose to be a cop? Well, maybe some of us like to be heroes, dude. Some of us don't like to see innocent people get hurt. Some of us don't like to see criminals at large hunting innocents. So yeah, given the chance to protect society and help the innocent, I'll take that over being a looting, murdering outlaw. And you know what? Maybe there are others who agree with you, Benny. Maybe there are people who would rather play the renegade path. But then there are others who play the paragon path. And that's not me projecting, Benny boy. You are a looting, murdering outlaw in your own version of yourself in this RPG. You yourself said previously you intended to loot, murder, and be an outlaw. I'm just using your own definitions here against you, Benny. Maybe I'm being a little harsh. The choice isn't between space pirate and cop. It's between space pirate and space cop. You got me. My bias is showing. Well, Benny, at least you can admit it. The first step towards change is recognizing you have a problem after all. But a pirate is cooler than a cop, so a space pirate is, by extension, cooler than a space cop. Checkmate. Ah, and just when I thought you were actually going to start making rational points and act like an adult. Nope. I see 8-year-old Benny boy is back to throw platitudes at the classroom. Okay. So, pirates are cooler than cops, checkmate. Is that it? Alright. Let's change terminologies. Watch this. Are pirates cooler than inquisitors? Are thieves cooler than sheriffs? Are looters better than sentinels? I mean, we can change terms. They can mean similar things, but suddenly the terms add new context. Yes, in a general sense, I would agree that the term pirate does sound cooler than an average cop. So saying space pirate versus space cop probably makes it sound like space pirates would be cooler. But let's change the terms to space looter versus space sentinel. Suddenly one sounds way cooler, at least to me. But I wouldn't presume to say what sounds cooler based simply on how it sounds. Because what one person sees as cool or fun will be different from another. I'm sure people will play Starfield as space cops, but I won't pretend I get it. There's not even any PvP action in the game, so it's not as if you're getting the thrill of ruining someone else's fun. Do you just assume that if I'm playing a cop in PvP and you're playing a pirate, I only do it for the thrill of ruining your fun? Your fun is not my responsibility or my desire. I'm playing the game for my own fun, for my own enjoyment. I couldn't care less about whether or not you have fun or not. That's your priority, not mine. Like when I play For Honor or Dead by Daylight, it is not my job to make sure my opponents are having fun. It is my job to try and win. But let me ask you, could you not reverse this sentiment? I mean, if you play pirate in PvP and you kill cops, other people playing cops, would you not be getting the satisfaction of ruining the fun for those people who are playing cops? How do you not see how easily this logic can be twisted, dude? Like, it seems pretty obvious. Like, take Red Dead Redemption, the multiplayer, like people who can get in on multiplayer and do that action. Sometimes I'm just playing a normal bounty hunter going out and capturing bad people. Then in the middle of capturing those bad people, suddenly another player runs over and just kills me. Is he concerned about my fun? Should he be concerned about my fun? Should I be concerned about his fun? He's clearly having fun doing what he thinks is right. Like, he's running over, killing me in the middle of me doing a mission. Like, it sucks for me, but should he be concerned about my fun? Should I be concerned about his fun? I don't see how you can't realize how this reverses itself very easily. You're just being a dick to NPCs under the guise of law and order. Okay, be honest with me here for a moment, Benny boy. Be honest with me for a moment. Do you honestly care about being a dick to NPCs? You, the pirate who admitted you wanted to cause slaughter and loot money from other people. The one who said, quote, "No ship is safe from your wrath." Who's the bigger dick to NPCs here? And what NPCs do you think a cop would be a dick to? The criminal NPCs, I guess? Well, what? Am I supposed to care about the feelings of criminals now, especially ones who are not real? And what do you mean under the guise of law and order? You just said in a previous point that you were pirating in order to, quote, "redistribute unequal wealth." So that's your guise for being a dick to NPCs. Dude, hypocrisy was a word invented with your logic in mind. At least us space pirates are honest about our intentions. We're both playing this game for a space-age power fantasy, but I'm the one admitting I'm a bad guy. I thought you said you could be whatever you wanted to be in an RPG and in real life. That was the thesis that opened your whole article, that we could be whatever we wanted. So why on earth can't I be a good guy? You're making it sound like I have no choice in this. I'm either a bad guy but honest about it, or I'm a bad guy but dishonest about it. Well, what if I want to be a good guy? What if I want to be a good cop? Why can't I? Are you saying that's not something I can do? Are you saying that it's impossible to be good and a cop at the same time? How dare you try to keep me from playing the way I want to? Maybe I want to play a good cop. You know, it takes a special kind of asshole to claim I'm better than you because I'm honest about being an asshole. No, you're just an asshole. If you're role-playing as a space cop, I'm going to assume that you think you're doing the right thing, that every lawbreaker in the galaxy is good for nothing and belongs in prison. You won't interrogate their motivations, you won't try to understand their motivations, you'll just arrest with impunity to try to massage your fragile ego. Benny boy. Benny. I want you to think for a moment, Benny. I know that's hard for you. I know you probably don't do much of it. I'll just assume that even the cobwebs have vacated your head for lack of activity, but just try to think for a moment, okay? You have just said, I can only assume you want to be a cop to do the right thing. And then you say that every lawbreaker in the galaxy is just good for nothing. I'm just too, like, all us cops think that every lawbreaker in the galaxy is just good for nothing. That I won't look into their motivations or understand them. All right, interesting take. So you think I'll, as a cop, that I will just make harsh judgments without evidence and just convict without recourse? Oh, kind of like you do, Benny. How you're making harsh judgments about anyone who wants to play a cop without evidence, and you're convicting us without recourse. Your title is that there's no hope for us who want to play cops, saying that we're just horrible people. We just want to play cops because we have self-righteous agendas, that we'll go home to broken marriages, that we should point our guns at kids just to feel good about ourselves, that we all have fragile egos. So you're the one making harsh judgments about us. You know, you really should consider playing a cop, dude. You're very good at it by your own metrics. Now, you want me to investigate criminal motives. You want me to do some more looking into motivations. All right, dude, I'm a little surprised you want me to do this because it's not going to work well for you, but I will do that. You said in your previous paragraph, quote, maybe I'll be more honest about my motivations. Blowing ships out of the atmosphere and looting their carcasses, or boarding with a bloodthirsty crew all armed to the teeth. Seems your motivations are pretty clear, but let's go a little further. You say later, quote, at least us space pirates are honest about our intentions. We're both playing this game for space age power fantasy, but I'm the one admitting I'm a bad guy. All right? So what I have concluded, Benny, you have openly confessed your motivation is simply wealth, power, and destruction. You have openly admitted you want to be a bad guy and are honest about it. Only once in this article have you stated you want to redistribute wealth. Only one aspect of your desire to be a pirate has anything to do with a moral up. But I don't believe you really care about anyone beside yourself, Benny, because as you also said later, quote, one thing I know for sure is that no ship in the system will be safe from my wrath. Which means even innocent ships that are not working for the man are fair game to you. Because, Benny, from what it sounds like, you don't care who you hurt as long as someone is hurt. Benny, not only are you every bit the asshole you proclaim cop players to be, but you are following the exact same unfeeling and self-righteous dickishness that you accuse us of. Firstly, don't ever tell someone what they should or shouldn't do when it comes to RPGs. We should choose for ourselves, as you admitted at the beginning of the article. That's why I'm not telling you you shouldn't play a totally evil, rambunctious, renegade space pirate. You want to do that? Do it. That's your play. Have fun with it. But you are essentially telling us that you're an asshole for wanting to be a cop because you'll just accuse people of evil and ruin lives for no reason. While at the same time bragging about how you ruin people's lives, but at least you're honest about being evil. You know, Benny, admitting you're evil does not somehow detract from your evil. Go ahead, be a space cop, but know that you're shutting yourself off from the most exciting RPG elements in the game by not engaging with space heists and by ignoring the characters in their stories. Why on earth would I be cutting myself off from the exciting elements of the game by playing a cop? Maybe there are aspects to being a cop that are unique and just as engaging. Maybe you get special rewards or features for being a cop. And who says I won't be exploring characters and their stories? What stories will you be exploring as a pirate, I wonder? You just said you want to kill everybody. Tell me, will you leave any of your victims alive to ask them about their stories? Or will you simply be the final nail in their coffin? The final sentence of their life stories, as it were? Dude, your arguments are petty at this point, which I guess is fitting since you want to be a petty criminal for cops to go after. Sure, you'll hear a lot about the police and the establishment, but I guarantee you that'll be the most boring part of the game. Do you have any evidence for that claim, Benny? I mean, you're guaranteeing here. I love it when people say, I can guarantee. All right, you guarantee it? Sure, what's your evidence for that? You got a citation? Any experience here you'd like to share to support that? No? No? I didn't think so. Tell me, Benny, does your ass ever get jealous of your mouth for how much shit you spit? Do you go around real life finding out facts about the government and ignoring all the people on your street? Okay. I gotta know, Benny. What do you think a cop does? You know, tell you what, I'd rather have a cop who just walks down the street not talking to people, kind of like, you know, RoboCop. I'd rather have that than a pirate who just kills and loots people, because at least RoboCop doesn't just kill me for my money. You know, on a fundamental level, and I recognize that this isn't always the case, okay? But on a fundamental level, cops are meant to protect and serve the people. I have friends who happen to be police, 3 of them in fact. They're great guys, really friendly, and I love hearing their stories. I know them well. One of them, Guy's name is Richard. Great guy. Has a great family. Gives a whole lot to his community. Wonderful person. Like, I love spending time with him, and he talks all the time. He was good friends with me and my family for a very long time. I love Richard. Great guy. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't bad cops in the system. There are. No doubt of that. There is no doubt that there are bad cops who do bad things. I don't question that. But your whole argument is predicated on making an overgeneral statement about cops all being, at best, ignorant and uninterested, or at worst, being evil and abusive. You are speaking from your own biased perspective, and you have yet to present a shred of evidence or even self-awareness for your arguments. Now, granted, you admitted you were biased, but admitting your bias means you should probably stop there and say, you know what, guys, I'm a little bit biased. Maybe I should look at this from another perspective, or maybe I should try this from another angle. No, you just keep doubling down. You keep painting cops as evil and dumb and unfun while not realizing for a moment you've presented the pirate option as destructive and evil itself. You will forgive me for not entertaining the advice of a fool who has admitted he craves wanton death and destruction. Like I said, you can be anything you want to be, but if you want to be a space cop, maybe dream bigger. Dream bigger, you say? Okay, let's talk dreams. What is your dream as a pirate? What do you want to do as a pirate? What's your goal? All you've said is that you want to steal, loot, kill, board, and cause mayhem. You don't want to make things better. You don't really care about fixing things because you just said you wouldn't even play a cop even if that cop was someone trying to fix the system. You don't care about fixing the system. You don't want to resist the man. You don't want to improve society. So what's your motivation for being a pirate outside of living as a degenerate who you always dreamed you could be? Is your only motivation just to steal, plunder, and loot and have a good time? Is that all? Is that it? You know, at least Monkey D. Luffy wanted to be a pirate so he could fulfill a promise to a friend and discover the world's greatest treasure. You don't even have drive or motivation to look beyond immediate gratification. I might tell you to dream bigger, buddy, but you know what? I'm going to surprise you here, Benny. I won't tell you to do that. I'm not going to tell you to dream bigger. Why? Because I don't care what you do in this game. I genuinely don't. Look, you said it at the start, and I agree with it. You can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to do. You can play an evil, crooked, and unfeeling pirate, or you can play a righteous, by-the-books, crime-stopping cop. Anyone can play what they want. And I agree with that completely. The issue here is that you're saying we shouldn't play as a cop. That there's no point. There's no hope in it. It's no fun. It's not engaging. It's basically the choice for us self-righteous morons who want to bully people in real life and instead act it out in a fantasy world. That is the case here. That is the problem here. You see, people like you, Benny Boy, are a bane on the world of video game critique and discussion. You're the kind of people who claim that there is a right and wrong way to play games where your adventure is your own. The kind of moron who will criticize an option in a game without having the self-awareness to realize that there are issues with their own decisions and courses. But what makes you worse, Benny, my boy, is that you don't even realize that the moral high horse you're standing on is one hoof in the glue factory, since you're actually pretending you have moral superiority by virtue of the fact that you're honest about being evil. Tell you what, Benny boy, tell you what. You have fun being a space pirate. Live like the criminal and degenerate you claim you want to be. Live and be a monster. But, for the love of gamers everywhere, keep your moronic opinions to yourself. You don't understand RPG games. You don't respect gamer choice. You've insulted it blatantly. And you don't understand morals and ethics. Now here's the thing. Some of you may have watched this and said to yourself, hey, you know what, Raven? He's just offering his opinion. He's just saying he doesn't like the choice of playing cop. Fair. You don't have to like that role. I mean, there are people who play Fallout who don't like to play Caesar's Legion or play Mr. House or play the NCR. There are people who play Skyrim who don't like to play the Stormcloaks or the Empire or the Brotherhood or the Dark Brotherhood or the Thieves Guild. There are plenty of people who don't like running certain playthroughs because they just don't think they're fun. But the problem here is he is using his bias against police officers to make his case. Is not giving any objective evidence. Why, like, he didn't even say, okay, if you play cops, then you'll miss out on these specific rewards or these specific plot lines or these specific opportunities, because he doesn't know them. He's simply saying, between the option of being a destructive degenerate and being a by-the-books cop, why would anyone want to be a by-the-books cop? And then he throws around ad hominems by comparing the space cop to real-world cops, which, for one thing, is insulting to police officers. And second, is in no way objective and sounds stupid and honestly quite cringe. It's basically an insult to player choice. If there are people who want to play cops because they've always dreamed of being cops or being law enforcement or being heroes to society, who are you to stop them? Who are you to tell them that's the wrong decision? Who are you to say, I worry about you? It's kind of like the argument of dub versus sub anime. Who really cares? If you prefer the sub to the dub, fine. Don't get mad at me for liking dub. It all comes down to this. Let us have our choices. Let us make our choices. You may not like it. You may not agree with it. But why do you want to treat us as lesser for having them? Why do you want to treat the choice as some lesser thing for having it? It makes you look petty and honestly worse. So, that is why I wanted to respond to this. This is a very cringe article. It was incredibly stupid. And I have a feeling that old Benny boy doesn't have the self-awareness to realize it. But let Benny do what he wants to do, guys. And I hope you guys get Starfield when it comes out and play the way you want to. What will you be doing, guys? What do you think of this article? Do you think Benny has a point, or do you think he's full of it like I do? Do you think that I was talking out of my butt, or do you think I had some good points myself? Let me know down in the comments. Would love to hear from you. I always read the comments, as you know. And thank you guys so much. And as always, I will see you in my next video. Take care.